Uh, my name is Vivek. Thanks for joining in. I'm a product evangelist at Unboxed. I love technology-based SaaS products, and I have the privilege of building a world-class AI-based site search here at Unboxed, helping retailers like yourself grow their businesses. And joining me today is Ankit, who is a security evangelist at Astra Security, where he has secured over 100 plus Magento stores and 500 plus e-commerce businesses to speak of. Today, he'll talk about keeping a Magento store secure and also share some crazy security attacks that a vulnerable Magento store could possibly face. So let's hear Ankit deep dive into this. Over to you, Ankit. We can't hear you, Ankit. You're on mute. No. Hover over your image. You should see an unmute. There you
Sure.
go. Yeah,
Where to start?
yeah, it's fine.
So thank you, Vivek, for such wise words. Hi, everyone. My name is Ankit. I'm a software engineer turned security evangelist, and now I secure Magento stores for food because I believe hungry security researchers are the best. So I'll just start with the agenda that I have for discussion today. Moving forward, I'll talk about why would someone hack your Magento store? What are the major security attacks on Magento stores in 2020? What are the best security practices for your Magento stores? And I'll tell you one growth hack for conversions that has worked massively for our customers with Magento stores, where I'll then ask Vivek to take you guys on a ride where he'll help you improve conversions for your Magento store. Okay, so let's just get started with why would someone hack your Magento store. So in this section of our conversation, I'll cover logical as well as technical aspects of why would anyone hack your Magento store. So the very first is to steal or leak your information. With this, I mean both your customers' information and a hacker accessing your confidential assets. A hacker would hack your store for your customer information, which could be a usual information leak consisting of uh, personal identifiable information such as name, email, address, phone number, which is all your customers' personal information, and to eventually extract your customer's credit card information. Then, obviously, a hacker shall hack to access all your confidential assets on the server. So, this was one reason of why someone would hack your store. The second reason is SEO hijacking. So everyone loves Google, right? Because it sends us a lot of organic traffic, which brings us sales. If I was to tell you that a bad guy would insert spam characters in meta information for each of your indexed pages in Google and your website in search results, start to look something like as in the image. So these are Japanese characters in the SEO meta information for the site. So hackers can choose to insert any unknown or spam characters that are not understood by your visitors or customers. With this hack, not only businesses lose their traffic and sales, but it also blackens the store's brand image, and eventually visitors and customers lose their trust in the brand. So somebody who doesn't necessarily like your business numbers would do this to your site. So there are some other reasons as well that could possibly lead a hacker to hack your site. Another reason being monetary benefit. So hacker sends emails asking for ransom, and in turn they'll give you information about the vulnerability in your infrastructure. Then somebody would hack out of hacktivism and boredom. I think this reason is more dangerous compared to all others that I mentioned, because someone doing this out of boredom or just because he likes to hack, then it might be the case that he'll never stop. Next reason could be to infect website visitors. So we usually think that, is it even possible to hack my website's visitors? That's entirely possible. So a hacker would do this to steal a visitor's session information, cookie information, because of some underlying vulnerability on your website. Next is cryptojacking. This reason shall comply with owners of stores with high traffic. So a hacker necessarily inserts malware on your store that tries to mine cryptocurrency from your visitor's computational engine. For whatever time a visitor spends on your site, a hacker mines cryptocurrency using your visitor's computational engine. Okay, so far we have seen why would anyone hack your store. So in this section of our conversation, I'll talk about three most frequent security attacks that we have seen in 2020. So first is website redirection attack. Second is price manipulation. Third is credit card hack, and then I'll discuss all the symptoms for these attacks as well. So let's just start with website redirection attack. So when a store is infected with malware and your store starts to redirect your visitors and customers to unknown and malicious sites. So these could be Viagra stores, pharma stores, or even porn sites, or simply malicious marketing pages and other questionable sites. So here I have a small demo of this hack. So this happened to a site where everyone on visiting this site was redirected to a malicious site. So I'll just play the video and I'll just show you what happens. So on the page view, uh, a website gets loaded and it simply gets redirected to an unknown unsolicited site. So this happens in a website redirection hack, and this is very common to websites and even Magento stores. Okay, so moving over to website redirection symptoms, right? So you must be thinking that the only symptom could be of website redirection, right? Yes, you're correct, but I'll dig a little deeper and let you know where in your store you can see malicious redirection symptoms. So one is simple, on a page view. Second, it could be on a button click. It could be on image call to actions. These will be important call to actions on your store, either on product pages or landing pages. And when a user clicks on it, he gets redirected to malicious sites. Another could be a hacker can put malicious redirects only on organic traffic, that too only for unique clicks or even unique sessions. This makes it difficult for you as a store owner to identify redirection hacks. So what if all your unique visitors gets redirected to unknown websites? They lose faith on your store, right? So next is very rare, and I found it recently in the previous security audit that I did. Was There were redirections only on the FAQ section on the product pages. Crazy, right? Because as a content writer, I would just write in FAQs and I would forget. None of the developers, none of the store owners would ever go back and check FAQs, right? So, but a user, when he's buying the product, he'll always look at FAQs, and that's why a hacker would put in FAQs that none of the internal team would ever look at, but users would obviously look at. Yeah, I mean that's why I say some hackers are damn smart, but we are on a mission to make store owners the smartest. Okay, so next security attack that we'll talk about is price manipulation. So this is when a hacker tries to manipulate the price of a product or products when proceeding to checkout. So here's a small video of the demo. I'll just play the video and I'll explain you what happens in payment manipulation. So this is a simple store where total amount is $434. What a hacker does, he intercepts the request, he stops at the request that is important. He changes the product price from $434 to unit 4, and he also changes the currency from USD to INR. So probably that is not even a dollar technically, right? So let's see what happens on the checkout. So when he's checking out, he's uh, on the checkout and see what loads up. So you see the price, it's 0.07 USD. So you're shipping a product of $434 for 0.07 USD, right? So that's crazy. I know. So, symptoms of price manipulation are straight, right? So, you'll start to lose money on every product that you ship. So, in the past, we have seen hackers withdraw some portions of product amounts to their bank accounts, and you receive less amount. than the actual money for a product that you ship. So if the hacker's amount is in cents, then it might be possible that this hack doesn't even come to your knowledge, and you would have already lost thousands of dollars in revenue when you understand that your store was hacked. So the next security attack that I would talk about is credit card hack. So sadly, I will not show you any demo for it because this demo will itself reveal credit cards of the users, and ethically, I can't do that. Essentially, credit card information leak is because of underlying vulnerabilities in the system. So when this happens, so if there are errors while your visitor or customer is trying to purchase items in the store, then possibly it's a symptom for a credit card hack. If there are unknown pop-ups and messages on the store, it could possibly lead to credit card hack. When users complain that the checkout process takes a lot of time, or your server logs show brute force or SQL injection attempts, or your customers complain that the credit card has been used to make unknown payments, listen to them, because these are clearly the symptoms for credit card hack. So credit card hack can only take place if a hacker gets access to either your core file systems or your database. You need to ensure both your database and file systems are secure. Okay. So there's a lot been talked about why is house and different security attacks in the section of our discussion. Uh, I'll talk about best security practices as we suggest them to Magento developers or store owners. So, from our three-level security framework, few are our suggestions for basic security, which will help in making your store's security rock solid. So, level one security practices are the very first, it's always advised to change admin URL to something that is not easily found and which is not easy to guess. The second would be to enforce two-step verification in your login process. I think it should be at least a must for people in your team or who are higher in your role-based access control table. Third is to ensure that you have a strong password policy for both your admin accounts and visitors accounts and enforce usage of strong passwords. It's basically to have a strong password policy. Have a feature around limiting login attempts on your Magento store. So it is basically the number of times one can enter a wrong password, else his account gets blocked for some time. Next would be to implement captcha on all kinds of forms so that it stops spamming. Then is to set correct Magento file permissions. A lot of times it has been noticed that uh, a lot of times file permissions are not correct, because of which a little vulnerability could lead to bad effects in a hack situation. Right. So I'll be just moving away a little from our three-level security framework as I want to give a little more. And these are the best security practices you should adopt in order to attain rock solid security for your Magento store. You need to update missing security patches as and when a security patch is rolled out publicly. So you can check for missing security patches on magereport.com. Another, I say this all the time that Magento is good. It's a very good CMS, e-commerce store. And with available extensions, it makes Magento a popular choice for e-commerce businesses. But sadly, extensions make the entire ecosystem vulnerable. With this, I suggest you that you use a secure Magento extension. Another great security practice that you should adopt is to block irrelevant traffic on your site. Suppose you have your business in US and you ship only in the US, then why would you even want to entertain traffic from China, right? So using IP blacklisting is your best bet. So not only it will reduce resource consumption, but will also eradicate bad bots activity on your site. So there are another set of attacks which are called DDoS attacks. So these are real-time attacks, which stands for distributed denial of service, so where botnets around the world try to interrupt your service and in turn make your store unavailable for your visitors. For attacks like these, you'll need to run a 24/7 application layer security, which comes as a web application firewall. Then I talked about a lot of security attacks, starting from Japanese SEO spam, website redirection, price manipulation, code injection, bad word attacks, other business logic errors. So, in order to stop these, you'll have to get a comprehensive security audit that tests for almost all possible security attacks and vectors on your infrastructure. And finally, one best advice that I can give you today is to become security conscious. If you want to do business in 2020 and beyond, you'll have to become security conscious as hackers are on a rise. Somehow you already are security conscious because you managed to join a webinar on Magento security. So congratulations on that. So most of the time, Magento store owners or lead developers are troubled with the thought whether I should have an in-house security team or not. It is presumed that there's a lot to do when it comes to securing systems of Magento store specifically. Well, that is true. I would not say something out of the box that security is super simple. Rather, I would say it should always be handled by experts. I'm not against an in-house team. Rather, I would give this job to someone who does security day in and day out. So therefore, I have a 7-day fully unlocked free trial for you where we would give you all necessary support right when you're installing Astra's firewall on your website to secure your store with absolutely zero limitations. So if everything looks fine, looks awesome for 7 days, then you can opt Astra to continue to support or protect your store, possibly for lifetime. Okay, so that's the only shameless plug I had to do apart from wearing this t-shirt. Yeah. So, so jokes apart, if you remember that I mentioned about me being a security evangelist and growth hacker who secures businesses for food. So the growth hacker in me wants to tell you that one single growth hack that worked for our customers who had an e-commerce store, which is to install a security seal on their store that helped them increase their conversions by 9.7%. So a security seal that is installed barely in 2 minutes can increase the conversion rate. Yeah, that's the growth hack I'm talking about. Cool. So now, as we have started to talk on conversions, then it would be a real good idea that I give Vivek this mic virtually, where he talks about increasing conversions in the holiday season ahead. Over to you, Vivek.
Thanks, Ankit. I think that was very insightful.
Cool.
Let me
So what
quickly,
I'll do, I'll just stop sharing my screen.
yeah,
Cool.
trust my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, it is Vivek.
All right, thank you. So, rightly said, preparing for holiday season is important and focusing on conversion even more. So, let me begin by introducing the company that I work for. So, Unbox, founded in 2011, has always looked at e-commerce as an industry from a very close quarters. Now, we are not just a product discovery platform, but we are a complete solution that enables an e-commerce business to succeed. We are on a mission to bring the best of AI-based site search experience to brands and retailers across the globe. With that, let's quickly dive into the core topic, which is conversion. Now, as retailers and online sellers, a lot goes into launching and building an e-commerce business. Now, in an increasingly competitive digital world, or digital buying world, there are some do's and don'ts when it comes to encouraging customers to buy items from your business. Now, that act of convincing a customer, in simple words, is conversion. And mind you, conversion doesn't just happen. You need to optimize for it, and it's extremely crucial now more than ever because we've looked at the last 2 quarters. We have seen the traffic for many of our customers peak during the COVID season, and our predictions, if right, estimate that about roughly 3x increase in the traffic during the upcoming holiday season. It is a time for us to be buckled up. Speaking of conversions, buyers today have a very broader choice, which means once you have a shopper that lands on your site, it is imperative for you to weave an experience that is personalized and contextually relevant. Amazon, the big daddy of e-commerce, enjoys a conversion rate of around 13%. It's even better for the prime customers. But the rate of conversion for other retail e-commerce sites for the same product at the same price is at best 3%. Now, why is this? Now, some of the main reasons is that the buyer just could not find the right product easily. They get null searches, and they end up assuming you don't have the product, or worst, they get completely irrelevant results. Now, before we understand what impacts conversion, it's important for us to understand the type of shoppers that land on our sites and how do they really interact with your e-commerce website. Now, visitor will almost always fall in one of the following categories. When new users use a search functionality almost 80% of the times. For a returning user, personalization is a very key aspect in driving higher conversions. Bargain hunters look for better filtering options to get to the most lucrative offers. And finally, the window shoppers, they can be drawn by good banner personalizations for brands around which they have stronger affinities. But if there was a single thing that you had to take away from this, it's the fact that on an average, 60% of your shoppers are going to begin their shopping journey with the site search functionality, the search bar, which for a lot of people and merchants is a big mystery box. Now, and it's an important mystery that needs to be solved. Right now, your e-commerce site today is one among 25 million e-commerce sites in the world. The fact of the matter is that most of the sites today lack at least five critical areas of performance. And of all the things, the most important, yet the most underperforming area is the search bar. And if I have to say this in simple words, there is a direct correlation between the search bar performance and your sales. A better search translates in more sales. And the AI behind the search engine at, let's say, a place like Amazon is what really sets them apart from any general e-commerce site today out there, right? Now, I just want to put things into perspective for everybody to see here. Now, what we have looked at Unbox is that the default search capabilities that comes bundled with some of the most popular digital commerce platforms like Magento, Shopify, stack in this order, and the results are for us to see here on the screen, right? And the key to any good performing search is to really understand three key areas. One is understanding the shopper's query, identifying the intent, and finally, the ability for us to rank the right results. Now, most of these default platform search do a reasonably good job in basic text matching, but it fails miserably in understanding what the customer intent is, and especially ranking as well. Now, and in case if you're interested in getting an audit done for your commerce site on parameters that are listed on the screen and more, you can drop a note to us in the comments, and we'll help you get a free report as well. With that, let's look at how AI can today improve the site search experience. And site search experience not just limited to the search bar, but different other places as well. Now let's begin by talking about auto suggest or type through. Now this is a place where you as a retailer or brand can weave an upward of 50% increase in conversion. Now, data shows that a shopper who lands on an autocomplete page suggestion are 6 times more likely to convert. And I'll show you an implementation by one of our prime customers called Monoprice, which is an American online retailer that sells generic brand consumer electronics. Let me quickly move to their site. So here, now let me go ahead and try typing in a query. So I'm typing GUI. Now you see the results here on the left pane here, which are based on top performing products. Now these are essentially users for buyers who have a very high intent. Now this into consideration, and it's important for us to understand because Monoprice as a brand does not sell, let's say, guitars, right? They are a site that today sells all accessories. Now the ability for the AI to understand what the core part of business today is and match that against the query is where AI really shines and does a great job for a brand like Monoprice. We can quickly switch to another great example. You may all know HSN, which is the Home Shopping Network portal. Here things get really interesting because, as you may all know, the way people land onto HSN is essentially either looking at a TV ad which is running, or there is a live stream ad which is happening here. So looks like there is TV ad running for Heidi Dow's chain of events crystal jewelry set, right? Now, if I were to go ahead and type the same query here, right, you notice there is a direct understanding by the AI that the query that you're most likely looking for belongs to Heidi Dow's, right? So this is a moment of magic, right? Now, the AI model here is auto tuning to understand what is being run in the live stream. And if there is any sort of inconsistencies or errors that a customer types, be it spelling mistakes, space words, hyponyms, etc., all those are automatically taken care by the AI engine itself, right? Now, and we've seen some of our customers implement auto suggest in very innovative and in interesting ways. This being one where within the auto suggest window, we have customers who are able to add the product to the cart itself. This has given them an uptake of roughly about 8% in overall conversions. So it's something that you can try as well as a quick growth hack. Talking about facets. Now, the search result page is at the heart of whatever a user clicks or leaves, right? Now, and with a good site search engine, you can customize it to a great deal, depending upon what your customer target audience is looking for. Now, the option to filter the results plays a very crucial role. Now, an AI-powered, facet management solution will automatically identify the attributes that should qualify as a facet as a step one, and not just that, but it can also auto configure the stack rank of facets, and it can also switch the different values and facets based on the shopper's query, right? A good example for this is what we are looking at the screen. So here again on HSN, if I were to type carry bag as my query versus black shoes, the list of facets that I see for carry bag are vastly different from that for black shoes. Now, in default digital commerce platform, it becomes difficult for you to manage these facets dynamically based on the customer's query. But the AI engine in place can fine tune all of these based on popularity and build the facet experience, eventually helping the customer shortlist products much faster. Um, Talking about relevance, this is an interesting topic here, right? Now, today, how your search engine handles variants can be a great way for you to judge how mature the site search solution is. And 9 out of 10 retailers have variants in their catalog. But when the search indexes the catalog, it doesn't build a relation between those group products, right, in a way that is intelligent and the catalog for it to identify. Because of which, what happens is if you type a query, let's say if I were to just type Diva black boots, in all likelihood, I would end up getting red as in primary image here itself. Why? Because there is a variant which is red, and in stack rank, if red is popular, it will end up showing red and not black, which is where you tend to lose customers. Now, coming to category pages. Now, depending upon your catalog and queries on your site, the AI engine today can make smart recommendation on what missing category pages should you be creating newly. And in case if and it can also help you in mapping the right products within these category pages, which you can then use to make your marketing campaigns, which should come very handy, especially during the holiday season right now. Talking about recommendations, now recommendation widgets have a very high impact on conversions. Um, Amazon roughly attributes 24% of its overall revenue to the personalization and the recommendation engine that it has in place. And AI can assist you in building multiple widgets depending upon where they are getting placed, be it a home page, a product detail page, cart page, or a category page. The model today can track the efficacy of the widget in terms of click-throughs, and will also look at product positioning to alter depending upon the shopper's affinity, and also by looking at collaborative data points. Let's say, for example, if I as a user uh, usually tend to buy a t-shirt size that is L, then it'll automatically understand that and show me products which belong to L as a size variant. The other places where AI can really help in sometimes is something that we call a symptom search. Now, take for example Lucky Vitamin site. Let me quickly move to Lucky Vitamin. Now here, let me just say no thanks. If I were to go ahead and type the word cough, right? So while we wait for the results to load, now if you notice, the AI engine today understands that I may be looking for a cough syrup or a cough drops. I did not specify exactly that I'm looking for something like a cough syrup, right? But it understands this not just semantically, because in the title, none of the products have cough written in it, but there is a relationship that an AI today can build between the product and the query that an end user is currently typing. which is where symptom search sort of really shines. Similar to this is something that we also call as dimension searches, right? Now, if I were to go ahead and type, let's say, a similar query on Global Industrial, which is also one of our marquee customers, now the AI today understands that the numbers which I have essentially typed here, which is 24 inches by 76 inches and 20 inches, are essential dimensions. It does not discard that off as an unrecognized value, wherein it's only showing me bookcases. While it's showing me bookcases, it is fine-tuned my results to match the specific dimension, right? A general standard search, which comes pre-bundled with your, let's say the Magento platform, doesn't do this today. And in case if you're an electronic, retailer, having a dimensional search really will help you a lot. And other than just the dimension, it also ensures that the results shown match the dimension and the primary criteria, then that becomes the primary criteria for ranking. Non-product searches are very interesting. So we have seen statistically that roughly about 15% of queries on an e-commerce site today are related to non-products. Now, shoppers today expect the search bar, no matter where it is, to function like Google, right? And it's not their fault. AI today can also help you in queries that go beyond just the product searches. So let's say if there is a content that you have present on your site which belongs to, placed under FAQ for refunds, shipping, cancellation, etc., the engine can automatically identify and categorize these as non-e-commerce data, index it, and automatically index it for quicker information retrieval in case of searches that happen on the site. The entire content optimization for the site search is an extremely key aspect, right? So today, take for example spell check. Spell check today identifies words, phrases in search queries and makes recommendations, by applying NLP. Now, it creates a pool of words. Outside of that, what it can also do, it can create a pool of words that add no value in an understanding of a query. For example, if you're typing in words like at, to, and for, these things can automatically get excluded. But if, in a standard search, that doesn't happen. Also, the AI today can identify concepts. Now, for example, what I mean by that is, let's say if a shopper is typing crimson floral dress. The AI can identify that the product the shopper is looking for is actually a dress. The semantic understanding there becomes extremely strong. And at Unbox today, we have a 95% accuracy in correction and content understanding rate today. With that, let me quickly talk about stemming. Stemming also, an automated stemming is also a very key way in which an AI can really understand your queries better. For example, irrespective of how the customer types, whether they're typing dresses or they're typing just the dress, the same query, the ability for the AI to understand it's the same query is pre-built in. Same thing, if I were to elaborate more examples, if I'm looking for a running shoes versus just a run shoe, AI can understand and map these two as the same query and give me the right results, which belong to the same product category. Uh, Now here I want to let you in on a secret. Post the webinar, if you were to do one exercise, I'd encourage you to go back to your Google Analytics, look at the percentage of zero result queries that you have. You will notice a pattern that anywhere between, your first things first, you will notice about 20 to 25% of your overall queries today return zero results. And I can assure you, the more you look into it, you will find that about 80% of those queries will belong to a long tail query, which means that it will have more than 4 words that the shopper would have typed. Now, this is where mature AI models really stand out. Now, the ability for AI model to comprehend the intent of a user and then apply advanced entity extraction models and narrow down the search that's in the right category using query category prediction models, and finally, applying an advanced ranking model, which takes into consideration multiple variables like user behavior, popularity of products, freshness, and users' affinity, are all applied to ensure that the ranking is fine tuned to deliver a one-to-one personalization for the shopper. Uh, while this may all sound a little technical in nature, the good part is that all of this today has been made available as a simple plug and play option with a platform like Unboxed. And over the last 9 years, Unboxed has collected data and insights that have helped us mature our platform. Now, what you're seeing on the screen is a brief snapshot of the major capabilities that come out of the box, which means you as a retailer or brand can fix all of your site search issues all at once, and look at an upside in terms of conversions of roughly around 25% in less than the first 3 months of implementation. And I want to call out the fact that the platform today is truly horizontal in nature. So it does not matter whether you're what vertical you operate in, what platform your site has been built on. It's a completely agnostic platform, so these factors don't matter. So getting started with Unboxed is very simple, and especially for Magento users, you can use a plugin available in Magento Marketplace and set up the Unboxed AI on your site in less than 5 minutes. To encourage you further, we do have a 21-day free trial for you to experience the difference Unbox can bring to your site search. And as I mentioned, starting on day one, you will have over 50 plus models fine-tuned by understanding your catalog data and ensuring that if your site search today is at, let's say, 40%, it'll make sure that it's about roughly about 80 to 85%. So with that, I hope this was interesting for all of you to grasp, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys may have for me or Ankit.